And I had taken a trip all the way from Birmingham, Alabama to Kansas City, Missouri to see the Buffalo Bills take on the Kansas City Chiefs. And while we were there, we thought we'd take in the Arabia Steamboat Museum. Now, I first saw the documentary on the Arabia on YouTube about 2 years ago and thought if I'm ever in the area, it'd be a fantastic outing. And I will tell you, it did not disappoint. As you enter the back entrance of the museum here, you walk right into the giant paddle wheel. This is one of the paddle wheels that was preserved from the recovery. Now, this paddle wheel is massive. It really doesn't do it justice in the video of how big this is. And it gives you an idea of really how big the Arabia Steamboat was. And so again, this is just on display. They've got a functional paddle wheel recovered from the wreckage. As you enter the museum, the first thing you're going to see is they've got TVs that will tell you the story of the Arabia Steamboat Museum. Now, we sat and I think it's very important to go through each of these, but it tells you a little bit of the history there, and also has things on display. This is from a different ship. This is actually an older ship when you walk in, but as you walk in, you can see again there are TVs that tell you the story. It's discovered in a cornfield and how it was discovered. I felt like this was very informative. This is actually a piece of the wreckage that was recovered, and it just gives you an idea of the size. And so we just kind of check this out. Again, this is just as you enter the museum. And this is kind of an aerial view just to give you an idea of what that looks like. I also included a couple still pictures. Now, these are the boilers. This is how the steamboat was discovered, and they tell you about this all throughout some of the videos there. This entire platform is the length of the steamboat, and as you enter, they've got these artifacts on display, plus some storyboards to tell you a little bit more about it. So while there are articles within the glass display, there's a lot of stuff as you continue to go through the museum, and I'm going to show you that. Probably this gun was one of the more fascinating things I thought. Everything from beads to guns to knives, and the collection itself is just massive. And so again, these are just some of the displays that they are going to show you, and as you go through and enter the museum, displays are located along what would be the decking basically. The museum in the bottom is actually part of, or dimension-wise, the length of the ship. And they have each of these displays set up to tell you a little bit about the articles that they have discovered. The way these are displayed was just really fascinating to me. It really told a story. It gave you a sense of kind of being there, being on the ship with some of the surroundings. You can see at the bottom there, those are the gunpowder canisters, or a few of them. Everything from beads to jewelry. Now here coming up is the stump that actually sank the Arabia. Picture, you'll notice a cameo appearance in the upper left corner. That's Mr. David Hawley. He's responsible for actually kind of getting things going with the Steamboat Museum. Now, I like the story of the mule in the museum. There's one casualty. It was this mule, and that was an interesting exhibit there that they had set up. You have everything from figurines to knives to guns. Again, I showed those earlier, but also this is the preservation area, and so you're able to go through and kind of see some of the people at work working to preserve items. Interesting enough, I think it's 4 months to preserve one shoe. These are some of the things that are down in their exhibit in front of where they are working. As you continue, they display the beautiful glassware that was on the ship. These items are displayed is just fascinating to me. They really do a great job displaying them. You can see right here how big and how massive the exhibit is. And in the bottom there, those are keys, skeleton keys, um, and all of the hardware. And so this is just kind of a snapshot of what that room looks like. There are doorknobs, again, keys, and all the things that you would need from a hardware perspective. As we continue to go around, you'll see that there were things like saw blades. There were stone wheels, I'm assuming for crushing grain and corn. And right to the right there, you're going to see some of the clothing exhibit that's going to begin to reveal some great treasures there also. Interesting enough, this is again snapshots of the exhibits themselves. I thought the coat and hat was really neat, but the shoes were amazing. They have 4,000 shoes in this exhibit, and all these, again, 4 months to preserve one shoe. That's pretty fascinating, but there are so many different kinds of shoes. And here's kind of an overall exhibit showing you how many shoes were on the boat. They had everything from little tiny boots to dressy shoes to you name it. And so my son found the little kid boots very interesting. And this is just amazing. The volume of shoes was just absolutely amazing. And these are a couple of items too, for horses, some bridles. We were, needless to say, taken back by the shoe collection. This was really neat. We got to meet Matt Hawley, who is the grandson, and his dad was David, the gentleman in the picture previously. But I got to pick his brain about other experience with the Steamboat Arabia. He really added to our experience by sharing some of the things, such as playing King of the Mountain back when they were digging the boat up. Now, these are some buttons, pants. He did tell us that some of the threads had rotted out. While the materials were still good, some of the pants, the threads had rotted out. And so some of them are just displayed in a certain way because of that. But the number of buttons, and we've got thimbles here, is just amazing. To go back in time and go, you know what, these are from 150 years ago, or now 170 years ago, you know, back in 1856. It's really fascinating. Again, here's some of the glassware on display. It's amazing this, of course, isn't broken or anything like that. This next part of the exhibit is one of the more fascinating ones to me. This is some of the food that was preserved, and it really looks like you could open up a jar and eat the items inside. And I did ask Matt if anyone had done that, and he did say he had an uncle that got into them and tried a couple of things. As you round the corner, there's a tool exhibit, and these were a lot of the tools that they would have used back then. Fascinating. Imagine how devastating it was for those at that time. But I can't imagine how devastating let's say there's was for people of that time to lose steamboat. You know, let's say these items weren't supplied in the store any longer because the steamboat sank. These are files that were on display. Again, here's some more guns and boots. Just the volume was fascinating. As we come over here, you're going to see this is probably one of my favorite pieces, the pocket knives. And so there were just all kinds of pocket knives. Those were a couple of snapshots just to give you an idea. These were the gunpowder canisters, a couple of them. These weren't in the best conditions. The better ones are in glass cases, but you can see everything from the keys there, and they had everything labeled, which was really helpful. If you didn't know something, what something was, there was a label there so that you could be informed. This was really neat. If you want to think about this, these, well, let's show you the cigars. This was chewing tobacco that was recovered as well, but right here we've got clay pipes. So back when they smoked a pipe, that's what they used. And to the left there were the stems. Those little round things right there were boxes of matches. And I really didn't have any idea they had matches back then, so that was pretty fascinating. On the back wall there, all the cookware that they would have used, and as well as candles. Plenty of boxes of candles. Now these are pumpkin seeds, apricot seeds, look like pepper, various articles there in this display. And again, it was just fascinating. You can see there we've got ink pens with ink wells. There are some ink wells on display as well. This is some of the food that was preserved. And so you can see here there are little cans of oysters. My son joked and said I should eat one. One, I told him I couldn't, but number two, I don't think I would be trying those out. The top shelf there, those are the pickles. And as we leave that area, we get to see all the plateware, dinnerware. And again, it's just amazing. All this was recovered and not broken. Now these plates were just fascinating right here. The detail on them was second to none, and just really, for that time to have items like that preserved, again, is something that you wouldn't think would take place on excavation. So all of the items in the museum are genuine, everything from the candles that they have, and again, you can see some cookware back there. Everything from spoons to knives. This is some of the jewelry that was recovered, and again, some glassware, which you can see. I'm going to take you through and show you a little bit of this. There's also some perfume, but these earrings are fascinating. I zoomed in and took a close-up to give you an idea, and basically the detail on these earrings was pretty fascinating. You can only imagine bringing those home to someone as a gift back in the 1850s, how display. This is a perfume bottle. Now what's interesting is they've actually recreated